Hey guys, welcome out to the range. Many years ago, I was in the academy. This is back in 2000. And I had an instructor in the academy. I can't remember his name. He was probably 5'5". I mean, the dude had the biggest case of little man syndrome I have ever seen. This guy had an attitude against anybody that broke the 6-foot mark. Because I was a smartass then, I am a mild smartass now, but then I was a major smartass. I decided I was going to start center punching my targets right there, as opposed to center of mass, which is what we were trained to do. And this little man comes over and he grabs me by my body armor and he yanks me down. He says, "Officer Miranda, are you a sniper?" And I said, "Sir, no sir." And he says, "Why are you shooting my targets in the face?" And I really wish I'd thought before I answered. And I said, "Because I am able to, sir." "Because I am able to, sir." And he says, "Drop and give me 20." And I start pounding out push-ups while trying not to laugh. And he proceeds to turn all the other students and start reaming them out. Because we do not shoot people in the face. It is unprofessional to shoot people in the face, blah, 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 blah. This is back in 2000. This is before the world changed on September 11th, 2001. Guys, I've always been a face shooter and I always will be. Simply put, here's why. I grew up with 2 older brothers. I know for a fact that if you get clocked in the head, your fight is done. That fight gets taken out of you. Even if we're talking about something rather innocuous, last summer we were swimming and my youngest daughter beamed me across the head with a pool noodle. She was 16 back then and she's a strong girl. She works for a plant nursery, so she's lifting all day long and she clocked me hard with a pool noodle. A pool noodle, okay? Right? A foam tube. And man, I just went, wait, not in the head, not in the head. Okay, it took the fight out of me. I couldn't see straight for a few seconds. All I heard was, "Boo!" when she made contact with my head. Imagine that 1,000 times plus if you take a 9mm to the noggin. If you don't understand what I'm getting at, let me be blunt. This is the frontal. This is the toughest bone in the human body, right here. When I say toughest bone, I mean by impact, not by tonnage. The toughest bone by tonnage is the femur. This bone can take more tonnage force than anything else. But impact resistance, the frontal is the toughest bone in the human body. Many moons ago, back in the late 90s, I was the laboratory assistant. And one day, one of our I forget what ologist this guy was, but one of our something-ologists came out of cytology, and he said, are you a MLA certified, medical laboratory assistant certified? And I said, "Yes, I am." He says, "Come with me." And we went downstairs to the morgue of the hospital, and we had to do an emergency autopsy on a lady that had died under rather, there was something hinky going on, and so we needed to pull her organs. So we pulled her brain, we pulled all her organs, so that they could be later tested for poison and so on and so forth. During the autopsy, the doctor started here with a bone saw, got to about midline, had to change the blade, got to the other end and the blade was already dull. We had to go all the way around, okay? It took us two something blades because the cut from here to here was the toughest, because obviously this is the toughest bone. And this lady was 80-something with osteoporosis, and yet it took like 2 blades to get from one side to the other of the frontal, which is why I tell you, for a fact, I have seen that the frontal is an unbelievably tough bone. Almost as if God knew that toddlers would be falling on a regular basis and face planting. Oh, that's right, he did, because he's God. So the point that I'm saying to you is, if you face shoot someone, you can't assume that you're going to kill the person, but you can 100% assume that you are going to take the fight out of that person. And that is why I am a face shooter. Someone I trained with years ago said, I've responded to more man shot in the head calls than any man ever should. And he said, and a lot of them, you'd get there and the guy was sitting on the sidewalk holding his head, bleeding, obviously, copious amounts of blood, but running his mouth and squawking and cussing. Headshots don't always kill people. Many years ago, I studied Aikido briefly, because as most 18-year-olds, you really don't have a lot of staying power with much of anything in life. The one thing I learned in Aikido was, where the head goes, the body follows. If I body shoot this guy, he does a little bit of rocking, right? If I face shoot him, or actually I'm going to aim right at the frontal, right? That's a dead center hit right there in the frontal. Did you notice how much more swing that had to it? It's more likely, you're more likely to knock a person over. You are more likely to knock a person over if you frontal punch them. If you center, just center of the face, just aim and knock that person over, you're more likely to knock a person down and take them out of the fight than if you're busy doing body shots. At these ranges, heads are actually pretty big, which is why I routinely, in fact, that target that's right over the shoulder of this camera, that's a 6-inch lollipop. And from here, I can hit it with handgun. In fact, let me swing over so that I can get a shot straight into the berm for you guys. We are definitely in excess of 25 yards. Okay, we're definitely in excess of 25 yards. If you've got good sights, if you have good control of the body mechanics that go with the proper stance of shooting, you can do very accurate headshots with not that much effort. If you look at the church shooting that happened in Texas last fall, that man took the shot that he had, and he took the shot that was needed to stop the threat. Understand that when I say to you that the verbiage is, I fired to stop the threat, that isn't a little word game that you're playing. I fired to stop the threat. I fired to stop the fight as efficiently as possible. If you understand anything about handguns, and actually, yeah, handguns, definitely. Handgun rounds, specifically, only damage the things they come in contact with. They don't have the ability to create the fluid shock that rifle rounds do. So if you're going to take the fight out of someone, hit them in the most effective part of the body to take the fight out of them. Because anyone who's ever been in a fight with someone knows that if you whack someone in the arm, it doesn't do much. You whack someone in the leg, it doesn't do much. You whack someone in the crotch, you piss them off. Look guys, I'm talking about a real hard fight. I'm not talking about a shoving and grabbing match. I'm talking about a real hard fight where someone is after you. Okay, you are more likely to stop that person by center punching them in the forehead and knocking them over, and then moving to a position of cover and holstering up and calling 911 and keeping track of this person. Hopefully you didn't kill him, because I would, with all honesty, prefer that you not have to take human life. But if you center punch someone in the forehead, you are 100% guaranteed to take the fight out of them. I fired to stop the fight. The man in Texas, what did he say? He said, I took the shot I had.
Your shot, did you take aim at his head, his chest?
The only clear shot I had was his head, because I still had people in the pews that were not all the way down as low as they could, and that was my one shot. And when I teach people, I teach them not to shoot the head unless that's all that you have, because hitting this size target versus this size target is significantly different. But if that's the only shot you've got, then that's the shot you take.
It ended the fight real quick, didn't it? Okay, the guy had a 12 gauge, and this church defender took the shot he had, center punched that dude in the face, fight was over. I say this because, guys, I want to be as honest as I can with you. I want to make sure that I give you solid information, and anyone who has ever been in a fight and who's ever taken a hit to the face knows exactly what I'm talking about. It really, truly is a fight stopper. If you guys have any comments or questions, which I know you do, leave them below, and I'll do my best to answer them. As always, I thank you guys for watching. God bless you all. Get those guns out in practice. Have a good one.